Yes, now blessed now. Do not forget the rest now, people. There's at King of the Pit TV, live and large and in charge, back once again. Let's get straight into it. I've never listened to this record before. I know it's a classic. I know it's a staple in the extreme metal forte, okay? How deep does this rabbit hole go? Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction. Is this the start of Gore Grind? What came before Carcass? You let me know down in the comments. This is Reek of Putrefaction. We're going to go through this track by track. Alright, at Des Rocksteady on Instagram. You know how we do it. Let's get straight into it. Of course, it's going to be starting with a tune entitled Genital Grinder. Alright, don't know what to expect. This is 1988. Let's get straight onto it, people. Cute little fade in. This can't be an intro. With a name like that, I'm not expecting just... I'm expecting like a relatively low budget production on this. By the sounds of these guitars. Oh, let's enlarge myself a bit so YouTube doesn't have a go at me. Quite a staggered drum there. Turn it up a bit. Come on now. Alright, we're moving on to the next tune, which I assume is the first real track of the record, Regurgitation of Giblets. Is that the one? So far, this production's been budget. That drummer hasn't been playing to a click whatsoever. The drums are drums are out of time. The guitar sounds dirty as hell. The production value as a whole sounds budget, but I know what's coming is going to be timeless, so let's get straight into it. I'm looking forward to these vocals. Let's see what's going on. I want to hear some blasts as well. Any blasts on this record? There we go. The noise and then the punk. Come on. Come on. Oh! Alright, I'm going to title that, what is it, Genital Grinder / Regurgitation of Giblets. We're going to title that as one tune, right? We've finally gotten into it. The vocals from the get-go, there was no meaning other than the fact they wanted to sound disgusting. Alright, just making a few noises at the start from what I was aware. I'm loving the punk. As far as the whole noise thing, I've never been a noise head, so just making a racket and just creating a sound of That's never impressed me too much within reason. But when it kicks into the punk and the hardcore punk and the like grind, yes, that's what I'm talking about. So correct me if I'm wrong when I'm talking about gore grind. I think this is gore grind, right? Or the roots of gore grind. It's not grindcore, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the next track. So K, there's that King of the Pit TV. You know what's good. First time listening to the entire record, Reek of Putrefaction. This next tune is entitled Maggot Colony, and we're going to run that into, what? Pure sissified, aka rotten to the gore. Come on, people, let's get straight in. Ramp it up. Is there two vocals in this band, or is it the one vocalist? Anybody here listen to Disrupt before? The dual vocal aspect sounds verging on Disruptish. Of course, Disrupt came along afterwards. 90s band, I believe. Last Days of Humanity. Alright, my one comment is that descending sort of driving riff, that dun 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 dun. I always thought we were gonna go into something like a mid-paced fist bumping punk, but we got straight back into the blasts, the dirty grind, the dirty noise, the mold ridden, diseased audio attack. Straight up audio terrorism. This is the second track I was going to listen to. I'm not going to say the word because I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's aka Rotten to the Gore. Come on. Gotta be gore grind then, right? Little bit thrash. The drummer's grooving in his own way. I'll be honest, I don't think the drums are very good on this record. Neither is the production value of the drums, but they do have character and they do sort of sell the grittiness and the outright obscene sound of this band. What the drummer's doing right now is just like, to me, he's not playing great, but it's a groove in a way I've never heard before. He's just grooving it out. When did Napalm Death's Scum come out? Was that in 88 as well? Come on. There's just a rotten soundscape accompanying that almost New York hardcore-esque riff. Napalm Death's Scum came out in 87 and this followed the year after. Wow, what a little period for extreme music. Yo, alright, I don't know if these were involved in the music prior to this tune, but I've had, from what I'm aware, the introduction of the gurgle vocals, which I think is what makes this style of music. It's incredible now, because it was incredible when I listened to Sabbath and found out, well, just found the root as to why people say it established a foundation for the music to follow. When I heard the first metal influences played by Sabbath decades back, it blew my mind. Now I'm hearing the gurgle vocals, which is so prevalent in like extreme dirty rotten music nowadays. So we're gonna move on to the next tunes, yeah? Next we've got Carbonized Eye Sockets, Frenzied Detruncation, if that's pronounced right, and Vomited Anal Tracts. We're going to get into all of them right now. So, a 1, 2, 3. Des at King of the Pit TV, Reek of Putrefaction. The first time I've listened to it, jumping straight in to re-clarify its Carbonized Eye Sockets, Frenzied Detruncation, and Vomited Anal Tracts. Some very pleasant names, alright, one for the kids. Let's get straight into it, people. Anyone ever buy merch off of Rotten Roll Rex back in the day? Yo, them vocals are rough. Yo. Those are some of the most brutal vocals. Is that pitch shifted? That's some of the most brutal vocals I've ever heard. Punk, come on. They gotta be pitch shifted. Them vocals gotta be pitch shifted. Next track, come on. Frenzied Detruncation. I can never get it. before we move on to the next tune, for me, don't get me wrong, the vocals are the highlight. It makes the act what it is alongside the noise sections, but the drums, the thinness of the drums on this record, it's not this high produced metal extravaganza. These drums are just so all over the place and feel like they want to fall apart at any point. I think that's creating the sound for me. That drummer, the way he plays or she plays, and the sound that the producer has sort of molded this drum kit into, through whichever means, sounds like it's a live recording in all fairness. Live at the studio, of course. So let's get into the next tune. Vomited Anal Tract, another family friendly tune. Let's go. What have we got? Oh, that just started blasting like a monophonic ringtone, man. Alright, that's the end of that section, right? My passing comment at this moment in the record is this tune in particular, is it Carbonized Eye Sockets? Dude, the vocal on that has been one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. The real low frequency, almost bark, alright? If anyone's heard Lack of Interest before, it does like dog vocals. And that has just blown that out of the park, man. That was incredible, really incredible. That has to be pitch shifted. Like, it's blown my mind to a degree where I'm still like thinking how it's happened. And I've heard everything once before in music. I've not heard that before. This is incredible. So this is Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction, 1988 full album. Would I listen to this by choice after listening to the 11 minutes? I don't think I would, but I'm picking out so much and hearing so much new extremity within metal that I've never heard before. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting. So, catch you in a second, people. Right, let's get straight back onto it. My first listen to Reek of Putrefaction, the entire record by Carcass. The next tunes we've got going on is... what is it? Let's have a look. We got Festaday. All my troubles seem so far away. Fermented Innards and Excreted Alive. Jeez. Alright. Let's get straight on to it. You know who you're listening to. It's Des at King of the Pit TV. At Des Rocksteady. The man, the legend. Let's talk music. Let's talk Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction. One love. Let's go. on we go, onwards and upwards. You hear that stutter in the drums? Then the timing difficult is this drum. This production is not high budget. Let's go back to that timing change. Yo, these lead guitar sections aren't pleasing whatsoever. They just blow your head off, man. It's an instrumental. Well, can't be instrumental, is it? But you know what I mean. Quite a menacing punk riff there at the background. Yeah, it could throw a nice tube bomb onto that. The guitars on this record are such a blend that sometimes it's hard to actually decipher the riffage because you're too busy paying attention to the ridiculous vocal, or the drumming is just so wacky that you can't help but tune into them in particular. Fermenting innards. On to the next track. Streaking Alive. Quite a high tempo, upbeat tune this. Upbeat little number. Oh, a little blare and a stop there. Come on, people. I'd be pogoing if I saw this live. If this was a band live and the energy was right, I'd be pogoing right now. Cool. Sounded a little bit Power Violence at the end there. Power Violence pre-Power... Well, Power Violence was quite an early thing, wasn't it? Did Power Violence come before Grind? I know Power Violence really took up momentum in the 90s, but I swear there was some 80s precursing Power... It was, Nah, it wasn't Siege, was it? That was Grindcore. Hey, regardless, that was Excreted Alive. It was sounding pretty thrash metal by the end of that, in all fairness. With the guitar solo and the riff underneath. Obviously a lot more crossover thrash, because it was pretty punk, but hey, that's what I thought then. Anyway, you know what we're doing. Carcass, the Reek of Putrefaction, 1988. We're listening to the full album. Back to finish, finish to back, back to back, back to front, side to side. Get the merch desk, mosh everyone out, everyone's a target. We're going to listen to the next few tracks, okay? Suppuration, Feet Aside, and oh, let me see the title of that. Come on, microwaved what? Microwaved Uterogestation. You're only going to hear it here. Des at King of the Pit TV, at Des Rocksteady. Let's get straight into it, people. Suppuration. Headbanger. Slayer, come on. Oh, did you hear the little counting on the sticks there? Listen. There's a lot of Slayer riffs going on in this track. I'm liking it. Yo, this is just messy. I'm gonna listen to this bit again. Listen to how messy this is. How old was the band when they recorded this? Ooh. That was a good tune. That was a good track. One of my favourites so far. I need more of them low dog vocals though. Feet Aside. Them vocals were grim. The vocals on this record have such variation. I adore the variation of the extreme vocals on this record. crust. Yeah, I'm going back. Listen to the blasts there. That's like a gravity blast, isn't it? Right. That was a pretty crusty tune. A lot of crust elements in there. Them like low death metal-ish vocals. Like they're in so many crust bands. The doon 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 doon. That's like power violence-esque sort of style to me as well. The tune was entitled Theatre Side and the band's called Carcass. If they didn't have artwork like this, and they weren't evidently a gore band, I would assume that they were like an animal rights pro-life band. Because I learnt a lesson from cattle decapitation that I shouldn't take things at face value and I should actually look behind the meaning of the words. And the track entitled Theatre Side sounds like a pro-life record, doesn't it? So politics aside, microwaved utero gestation is next. Let's go, people. Reek of Putrefaction. That's tight. That stab section there with the chokes on the cymbal, that's actually incredibly tight. I didn't expect that. Alright, that was the Next set of tunes, right? So, as far as where we've come, it feels like we've come a long way. I can't believe that this band has put together 40 minutes worth of this material. That is insane. Like, to remember this sort of stuff and to just sort of sit together and write this much material, I wonder how long that took. I don't know how many demos they had out initially prior to this LP and so forth, but it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. When I first started experimenting with extreme music in high school, I came across the band Last Days of Humanity, which is an extreme band. And I just had a little Google search and found out that they established in 1989. I can see how Carcass are influencing these acts because correct me if I'm wrong, drummers, but I'm hearing gravity blasts in this music. As far as the speed and intensity of them snare beats from the drummer on them fast bits, it's just reckless noise, man. Yeah, really good, really good, really good. So, you know how it goes from here, yeah? Des at King of the Pit TV, listening to Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction, 1988, from start to finish. Let's have a look at what we got next, people. I'm going to have to shift myself a little now, alright? So, oh, and we got Bolt Thrower down there as well. We might pop that on afterwards, alright? Because I know there's a lot of Bolt Thrower fans out there. Feast on Dismembered Carnage, Splattered Cavities. The word splattered is a lovely word. Psychopathologist. Yeah, let's go. And I'm looking forward to that track after Burnt to a Crisp. Jeez. Right, let's get straight into it, people. Like Des Rocksteady, let's talk music. Yo, we're keeping it extreme today, people. Feast on Dismembered Carnage. Let's go. We're going back. That was the introduction to them Predator vocals. That is insane. That's pitch shift. That has got to be pitch shift central. Guttural toilet gurgle vocals. And a surprise heavy metal riff after. Right, Carcass's influence is all making sense. It's all coming together to me now, people. I now want to hear a track with them bloody Predator vocals and the vocals from what was that other tune? Carbonized Eye Sockets, the low dog barking vocals. I want to hear a track with both of them vocals on. Let's go. Splattered Cavities. Thrash. Bass guitar sounds mad. definitely takes a certain sort of individual to appreciate music like this. I wonder where they got all of this imagery for the album cover in the 80s. Because obviously you couldn't just go on the internet to find this. They go on like medical books or something. Next tune. This one. Psychopathologist. I'm going to pause this, right, to just give a plug and just sort of mention a bill that's been announced within the past few days, alright? So there's a hardcore, they call it the CBGBs of England, right? The Temple of Boom, aka Boom. This is an independent venue, right? No security, no bouncers, no what do they call it? No barriers. Yeah, listen to this. Napalm Death playing this venue, about 300 cap venue, yeah? It's 2022, by the way. Napalm Death. Raging Speedhorn. Voorhees. Voorhees, UK hardcore legends, yeah, if you've not heard them before. Honor Snop, Power Violence Act, local Leeds heads. A band called Sulk. Fetal Juice, which is like a, relatively large scale nationwide death metal act. Celestial Sanctuary, I'm unfamiliar with them. Razor Eater. I've seen them on bills, but I've not really paid attention. But that's crazy, innit? Napalm Death in a 300 cap. No security venue. That is punk. Come on. I used to listen to this band called Satan's Revenge on Mankind. Them vocals and that riff sounded spot on to what that band sounded like. Alright, nice. Nice, that was the next set of 3 tunes we were listening to. Alright, so that was Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction. We're getting into some gritty vocals. I feel as if this album is developing as we continue through it. It feels like there's a definite development of the songs and the vocals and the approaches to each one of these songs. So I'm looking forward to get stuck into the next, let's say, let's just call it 15 minutes worth of music. This is really good, people, so hold on to your todgers. We'll get straight back into it. Let's now. Des at King of the Pit TV, listening to Carcass, the Reek of Putrefaction, 1988 record from start to finish. Never heard it before. The 3 tunes we're going to be checking out right now is Burnt to a Crisp, followed by Pungent Excruciation, and then finalised by the track Manifestation of Varicose Urethra, which is one of the most ridiculous titles I've ever heard in my entire life. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. King of the Pit TV. Yo. I don't want to use obscene language. But has anybody heard the Anal Sea tune, Van Full of Ours? Van Full of Tards. That's the exact same vocal line right there. Was that intentional? As far as what the other band did, Seth Putnam. Oh, this section is grim as well. This section is grim. Sounds like black, well, not black metal, but you know what I mean, like a blackened sort of heavy metal tune. This is hard. Yo, in each and every track we're sort of delving into a new influence and a new sound. It's a very varied spectrum of extreme music I'm hearing. That was very heavy metal. They were riffing all the way through that tune, more or less. That fast bit just sounded like it thrown in for the sake of it, to be honest with you. Could have been done without. But just for a extreme novelty, they had to do it. This is really cool. The vocals were good. The riffs were good. Yeah, that was a great tune. That was burnt to a crisp. Pungent Excruciation. Next, let's go. The tracks seem to be getting a bit longer. Oh. Hardcore. What the hell is going on? What is going on with that riff? ignorant, primitive head bopper, this one. Ignorance, come on, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Quality. Right. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. We're experimenting still. We're on the last quarter of the record, but that Burnt to a Crisp was unlike many of the tunes I've heard on the record. Alright, that Burnt to a Crisp was a riff fest, and it was just very heavy metal, and it was also very blackened with the vocals. It's a very grim tune in comparison to the just, you know, brutal extremity of the rest. Pungent Excruciation was a good tune as well. Yeah, we're getting straight into it here. So we got last 3 tunes, yeah? And you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it's Des at King of the Pit TV. We're signing in once again. Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction, the entire record. Yeah, never heard it before. We're finishing off. Yeah, we've got 3 last tunes. Oxidized Razor Masticator. Jeez. Mucopurulence Excreta, and Malignant Defecation. Alright, let's go, people. Okay, what might be one of the more ridiculous things about this record, which I hadn't even considered, this can't be an E standard. Is this an E standard tuning, this record? Death metal. Straight on to the next. Keep it moving. This could kick into a riff. Come on. Of course it don't kick into a riff. Satan. I like a good cymbal choke. Right, last track of the record. Are they going to pull out anything fruity for me? Come on. Let's hear something special. Already I'm checking, is this a cover song? Malignant Defecation don't sound like a cover song, but this intro already don't even sound like Carcass. I can't believe they let the bassist have a time to shine on the last song. It needed a nonsensical finish, didn't it? Alright, yo. I just finished the entire record. I'd never listened to that before in my entire life. It was about time I did. That was Reek of Putrefaction, the cult classic by Carcass. Was this record one of the main roots of gore grind? What did I think of this record as a whole? Honestly, I wouldn't choose to listen to it again, and I say that respectfully because it's not my sound, alright? Not only am I not a death metal head, I'm not a noise head, and so forth, so it was good to listen to. There was some good punkier riffs in there, which I do appreciate. The most important thing to me was I was able to sort of decipher a little bit of the influence I hear in some of the bands I have heard, some of the more modern bands. Definitely Crust bands, and definitely the gore bands I used to listen to back in my teenage years. It made complete sense. I'm a fan of brutal vocals. Like, when it comes to death metal, I prefer a brutal death band as far as the vocalist goes, as opposed to like your general traditional death metal vocal. So it was nice to hear someone doing that in 1988, man. Really incredible. It's been a great piece of the puzzle to add to my dictionary of metal music and extreme music. Maybe more punk music as well, you know what I mean? Whether this is more punk or more metal is up to you. If you're listening to this, I'd like you to leave a comment as to whether you would consider this a punk or a metal band. You can't choose both, alright? So yeah, Napalm Death's Scum was only 1 year prior to this. How far prior, as far as 1 year goes? Because this might come out in January 1988. I don't even know. But that brief time frame for extreme music must have been absolutely ridiculous. Like the absolute noise is shocking. The absolute just the blast and the racket and the vocal is shocking. I can't imagine what people imagined when they heard this in the 80s. This is just as extreme as anything coming out right now. Like, this really pushed the envelope. I don't really know how you sort of make things more extreme aside from add, you know, ridiculous adult film samples, which obviously a lot of bands do. Um, this was shocking. If you want to annoy your neighbours, and if you're, still living at home with your parents, if you want to annoy your parents, get this record and blast it. Yeah. That was Carcass, Reek of Putrefaction. That was an experience. If you want me to check out later Carcass records, let me know down below, because I know they did go through a little bit of a sound change, maybe into a more traditional death metal style. I'd be up for checking it out. Just let me know, alright? Any gore grind, any grindcore, any power violence and so forth, any crust you want me to check out, let me know, alright? That's me signing out. That's Des at King of the Pit TV, at Des Rocksteady on Instagram. Give me a shout. One love, people.